Hello friends, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topic, quad. So I always try to talk about this topic. I've already talked about this topic in various online forum when in some of my friends from Australia, Japan, US and India, they agreed or disagreed on the topic, on some of the content of the topic. So this is my favorite topic other than blockchain and climate change. I always try to talk about this on this topic in online forum or public speaking. So and the views expressed on this video is my personal. I don't want to put any content on that which is actually annoying someone. So uh, the views are very personal. And so first of all, we have to understand what is quad. Quad is a quadrilateral security dialogue, and basically it is an informal strategic alliance comprising four nations: US, India, Japan and Australia. And if you look at the main objective of this basic the quad alliance is uh, the main is to do trade and to actually, in my view, it is just countering China absolutely in Indo-Pacific region. And it is a deterrence for India. If China does something on the border of India in eastern Ladakh, so you have some deterrence in place. Although India can handle China single-handedly uh, when it comes to handling China on this region, but when it comes to two front war situation, so maybe in that case we have to have something in place, the quadrilateral alliance. So let's first look at the main objective of this alliance. So it is known as the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. The Quad is an informal strategic forum comprising four nations, namely United States of America, USA, India, Australia, and Japan. One of the primary objective of the Quad is to work for a free, open, prosperous, and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. Right. So APEC or Indo-Pacific region. Uh, Quad's primary objective include maritime security, combating the COVID-19 crisis, especially vis-a-vis vaccine diplomacy, addressing the risk of climate change, creating an ecosystem for investment in the region, and boosting technological innovation. So, COVID 19 is something which came in light after, I mean, when after the COVID 19 broke out in China, and then, so this is the later version of that. So, Quad was formed many years before the COVID 19 broke out. So, but again, the coordination held a lot of meeting post that, and they actually they're working on the vaccine and other things, not only COVID-19 but other. So India is one of the largest vaccine producers right now. So and Japan will be funding, and US will be funding this the vaccine, vaccine manufacturing. So, other than this, what I think personally, the views are very personal. I think it is just in order to counter China in the Indo Pacific region, not only Indo Pacific region, but in the South China Sea as well, right? So, I think this is combating China and reducing the China's influence in the region, especially in Indo Pacific region. Uh, so, this is what all about the Quad. And if you look at the territorial claims in the South China Sea, so China has a dispute with many nations, around 15 to 17 nations, including the Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Singapore, Philippines, Taiwan. Taiwan is well known. I mean, even China claimed the territory as well. Kuala Lumpur. That is the dispute is along the lines of this one, South China Sea, right? So although China has increased its influence in this region, and even in Japan is there. I can't see in the map Japan. So Japan has a dispute with China along the South China Sea. So it's more of reducing China's influence in these countries, and America is actually indirectly helping them. That is my view. Uh, and Along the similar lines, in 2020, India, Japan, Australia, and US naval forces actually uh, held some exercise in the region, in the South China Sea and Indo-Pacific region, I would say, and they did the some sort of this is the Malabar exercise which was held in 2020. So I think it's more of challenging China's influence in the region, and it's all about practicing. I mean, held taking part in the naval practices, naval vessels, and exercise, but which is called Malabar exercise. But again, it is indirectly challenging China in big way, right? So and and coordination also took part of in the UN General Assembly in 2022, where four nations, external affairs minister of four nations took part in that, and they were working tandemly with each one of the nations around Quad. And what is India's position when it comes to diplomatic position of India in a Quad? The Quad is a positive, constructive agenda, so we don't target a country or a region for that. What we look forward to is that peace and stability in Indo-Pacific region should be adhered to and should be maintained. Right? This just reiterated the consistent Indian position that the Quad is not against someone, meaning China, but for something. So India's position is that it is a comprehensive and it is a constructive alliance, not a destructive to any country, not to undermine any country's position, especially China's. But more of it is what I think is it's good for India when it comes to China is actually overpowering in the eastern Ladakh region or in Arunachal, and I think it's good to counter China. Uh, but I have a different view on Taiwan and South China Sea, right? So I'll share it later on. Uh, and In conclusion, what I think, India should not get into any mess around South China Sea. If anything happens in South China Sea, so if being a Quad member, India should not get into any mess, right? Because India is the closest nation of China. So when it comes to other than Japan, right? So when it comes to any conflict, so India should not get into that. When it comes to India, if China is increasing the expansion of China's imperial ambitions to expand China in Tibet and in Arunachal and in South in eastern Ladakh. So when it comes to India, and if China incites Pakistan from the west, and if India is in a situation of two front war situation countering this, so Quad come handy in that way. Maybe then India can play some role here. The Quad could play some role here to help India in case of two front war situation. But when it comes to South China Sea, I think it's my personal view. India should not get any mess. India should not get into any mess of any nations around South China Sea. We have nothing to do with South China Sea, I believe. So India has nothing to do with South China Sea. And Quad is actually seen as a semi NATO. So everybody knows the America's position. America left Ukraine in how badly. I mean, Ukraine first, uh, America actually wanted Ukraine to be part of NATO, and then uh, challenges Russia, and then everybody knows what happened with the Ukraine now. So the fire was lit by America, and then who's paying the price? Ukraine is paying the price for that. So India should not get into any trap around countering China when it comes to India, one to one with China. So maybe then uh, quad taking part in quad exercise is fine. But there are a lot of alliance of America, NATO, SATO, AUKUS, and there are others. So I mean, it's my perspective. Like we should not get into any mess, and it has to be taken as a trade and strategic alliance and deterrence against China. But when it comes to putting this thing into practice and practical, I think we should be very cautious around that. So that is my conclusion. That is my point of view on this. S- So, guys, if you like this video and if you want me to, uh, you know, create more such videos, so please subscribe my channel, like my videos, and please comment. Please write some comment in the comment box whether what should be India's approach around Quad and how efficiently or diplomatically we can, leverage this alliance. Thank you very much.